You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Republicans sweating about major political liability for 2028 contenders, based on an article by Thomas Keekett. Iran deal, GOP edition, outsource the risk, keep the credit. The real power still sits with Trump. The source describes Republicans treating the Iran war and peace talks as a 2028 litmus test, with J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio emerging as early frontrunners. But the power hierarchy is not subtle. Trump is the one whose remarks reportedly framed the politics of blame, and the party is already arranging itself around the risk he created and the credit he may claim. The scapegoat is preselected. The clearest political move in the story is the effort to pin failure on Vance before the deal is even judged. One anonymous Republican says the arrangement could become a major problem for Vance if Iran gets money, keeps backing Hezbollah and Hamas, and continues its nuclear work. That is not analysis. It is preemptive liability management. If the deal goes badly, the party's instinct is not to own the outcome. It is to choose a carrier for the damage. Diplomacy is primary theater. This is what passes for foreign policy inside the GOP. Negotiations are evaluated first as campaign material and only second as statecraft. Republicans in the piece openly measure the deal by what it does to gas prices, maritime traffic, and the 2028 field. Cornyn's comment makes the mechanism plain. The deal matters because it may reopen the Strait of Hormuz and soften political pain at home, not because anyone has a serious theory of durable peace. The state becomes a backdrop for electoral positioning. The misdirection is the point. The article's framing mostly follows the party's own nervousness, which risks obscuring the actual decision-makers. Iran is treated as the villain, obviously, but the domestic political choreography is equally revealing. Republicans warn about tens of billions of dollars going to Iran while also admitting the president wanted the strait open and gas prices contained. That is the core contradiction. They want the benefits of de-escalation without owning the bargain that produced it. So the blame gets pushed downward onto Vance, while Trump remains above the mess, half-joking and fully insulated. Rubio's distance is not neutrality. Rubio's reported effort to keep distance from the negotiations is not principled caution. It is positioning. If the deal works, he can remain adjacent to success without owning the terms. If it fails, he can revive his earlier hawkish posture and campaign as the man who was right to resist deeper entanglement. That is not leadership. It is a contingency plan disguised as judgment. The pattern behind the performance. The larger pattern is familiar. Elites make consequential decisions, then convert the fallout into a test of loyalty for younger operators and expendable messengers. Foreign policy becomes a liability transfer system. The strongest actors preserve flexibility, the weaker ones absorb blame, and the public gets a polished story about prudence, toughness, and realism. What this piece actually exposes is a party that treats war, peace, and primary politics as one continuous exercise in misdirection. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Marcus, thanks for listening.